Hi, I'm Elijah, and I need to stop doing these month-long hiatuses. But video games are the best way for me to distract in life. I mean, just look, you have Mega Man 2 in the wild, and what's the first interaction you do? Do human shit? No, damn it, they didn't make it to talk to people. I have to play this. However, I come to a realization with me playing video games. They're always blue, but for some reason, I feel like just playing green. This was the best investment I made this year, but in order to get the full experience, I need to buy the newest Zelda game. Son of a bitch, he's blue too?
The Legend of Zelda, one of the most prolific adventure game series ever conceived by man. Contrary to me being a Sonic fan, I love the Zelda series, even though I haven't beaten anything yet. In the same vein as Sonic, I can never finish a Zelda game for the life of me. These games require a large amount of time and dedication to finish. And sure, where I have been dedicated to finish some Sonic games, I clearly don't have the time because I have time to do better things. Whenever I pick up a Zelda game, I would usually play it for about 30 minutes or 2 hours if I'm doing something that I really don't want to do. Then I would drop it, leave it for a few days, come back and go, what was I doing here? Even though I'm starting to have the same effect with most games, it's mostly prevalent with Zelda. But I'm making up for lost times. I started creaming through Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. And I just started Twilight Princess. Some people say they like it, some people say they hate it. I don't really know because I haven't even finished playing it. I did start A Link to the Past a few years ago, and Zelda 2, go f yourself. However, not too long ago, I did beat Ocarina of Time, and I could clearly see why many people said that that's their favorite Zelda game. But that's not good enough, so instead of playing the most recent Zelda game, or the one 5 years ago, or the other 10 years ago, or the one 20 years ago. Damn, we are getting old. We'll play the one that began this whole mess, The Legend of Zelda on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Similar to Mario and platformers, The Legend of Zelda didn't create adventure games. It more or less innovated and popularized the genre to death.
And battery saves. We can't forget about battery saves, or else we want to get games like Splatoon 3.
Shigeru Miyamoto wanted this game to be based on his childhood, exploring the forests and caverns near his home. Notice something similar? When Nintendo made Breath of the Wild, and especially Tears of the Kingdom, they wanted to go back to the open-world non-linear exploration that started on the NES, which kinda laid dormant since Ocarina of Time. So that's how I can play this game. Adding some King Arthur and Lord of the Rings mythology, along with some Peter Pan, you got a game that incentivizes you saying, go little green boy. The game was released in 1986 on the Famicom Disk System, and in 1987 here in the States and Europe, an official NES Gold cartridge. The story of Zelda is what I said before, but expanded upon. In the world of Hyrule, there exists two magical triangles called the Triforce, a powerful MacGuffin in which the holder of both triangles can wish whatever they want, whether it be good or evil. Ganon, some evil pig dude, took the Triforce of Power and set his sights on the Triforce of Wisdom, where Princess Zelda broke it into 8 shards in fear of him getting it, where she gets taken herself. You play as Link, or whatever you want to call yourself, as he embarks on a journey to not only collect the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom, but defeat the evil Ganon, take back the Triforce of Power, save Princess Zelda, and save the world of Hyrule. Yeah, to where the third Triforce, the Triforce of Courage is, that's later revealed in Zelda 2, with somehow being related to Link in some way or another. The first game only had 2 Triforces. After the game's title screen, we are given some fun text and blurbs, and the items that you will see in the game, including with a please look at manual for details. But we in the emulation department are a little what we say f***ed. You could just look up the manual online, but Nintendo had us covered, including QR codes for the manuals on the NES Classic Edition, and man, I haven't felt this grateful since. Anyhow, the manual tells us what we already know and a guide to get to the first dungeon. Thanks, but no thanks, I'll be beating this game like any kid living in the 80s. So we go to this cave, pick up the sword, go out. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner. Holy sh**! It looks like a bird!
Yeah, with Zelda on NES, it is almost a requirement to use a guide, just for you to figure out where the hell you're going. After that whole thing with the sword in the cave thing, you're on your own, and you will wander aimlessly, find a dungeon, go through said dungeon, defeat the boss, collect one of the 8 pieces of the Triforce, and repeat. The game sounds simple enough, but by all means it is simple, but it gets quick real hard. Some enemies may come up and take a few good deal of your health, where the difficulty ramps up to 11 for a hearty so it's wise for you to upgrade Link, find better swords, buy items from the get-go, which yes will be such a slog, but it's for your own good. The items are also made with the intentions of being bought, so it's a good idea for you to grind a bit so you can get enough rupees or find some dropped items. And that's already a tricky task if you're not using a guide, with the main take finding all the secrets within. The Legend of Zelda is known for its legendary puzzles, and by God are the puzzles cryptic beyond belief. Many are like burn this bush, bomb this wall, push this block. Sure, it seems easy, but the game never tells you which bush to burn, which block to push. And sure, there are some ways to do it with some hints in the game, with give you hints in quotes.
What the f does this even mean?
The game always gives you these random text blurbs that don't really help you that much, and rarely tell you anything. This is the reason why I don't feel bad about using a guide. Like, how else are you supposed to know the way to kill the Dodongo was to put bombs in its place? Makes all the while satisfying to kill enemies in the game, but like I said, until much later with the next set of dungeons, they're beefed up to 11. Imagine how difficult it would be after you got the Triforce piece that you would have to walk all the way back and have to endure all those mobs again. Not to mention with your heart beeping on low interrupting the music. Speaking of which, the music, not a lot, but still iconic. You'll mostly hear the overworld theme and the dungeon theme. Even years after its release, The Legend of Zelda is still a fun romp. But it is still a hard son of a bitch. The hardship is somewhere in the middle between a black box NES game and Mega Man 2-like experience. Now, do I recommend this for players? Well, no, if you're not into it. There is some fun to be had with the game, but only if you're with a guide. It feels like you're doing a treasure hunt while being needlessly tedious to look at one. Playing the game without a guide feels more like you're playing an RPG like Final Fantasy VII. I mean, yeah, you have that feeling that someone's gonna walk into you cheating at the game, but really the game is way too ambiguous, so you need a guide. For those that don't want to play the game, you could look at YouTube for playthroughs to get the feel, but for those that want to play the game, I say go for it, but it's dangerous to go alone without a guide.
Even to this day, The Legend of Zelda on NES is still a fun experience, with the exception of using a guide. But hey, I'm not complaining. I use a guide almost every day in my life. I mean, just yesterday I figured out the correct way to shower. You have to be naked?